everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you from wherever you're joining us today for Hello Paralympics What Youngsters Think with Bukosmia. Some of you already know about us, but here's a little bit about us. Bukosmia is the number one creative platform for youngsters under 17, a one of its kind platform for youngsters to come and speak up, to tell us what they feel, to share with the world their feelings. And in a very short span of time, I'm very happy to say that we have youngsters from across 125 plus locations globally who send in their thoughts through writings or the way they speak, through videos, through art, through photographs, just about whatever a youngster thinks. So that's the most beautiful part about this initiative. I'm really happy to see that all of you are here to join us today for this special show on Paralympics. The Paralympics are not simply games to those that participate as well as those who watch. They are both a fierce competition and a statement on inclusion. When the Paralympics take place, the participants send a message out to the world that their artificial limbs need no hiding. Wheelchairs are not hindrances, but powerful extension of their bodies that allow them to do great things. Visually impaired athletes in goalball successfully defend their goals against a ball they cannot see. At the Paralympics, there is no pity, only a sense of pride, a culmination of years worth of practice and training and an impressive display of skill. And in this regard, these sportsmen are no different than any sportspersons who represent their country at the recent Olympics. Then why the big divide in terms of support and sponsorship? Why don't we know and chant their names as much as we do for, say, a Neeraj Chopra or a Mirabai Chanu or a Mary Kom a few weeks back? These are some of the points we will discuss about today on this wonderful show here on the Bukosmia Room on Backstage. Thank you so much for joining us. And as we wait for all of our young listeners to join in, remember it's going to be a youngsters fest here today. A lot of our youngsters from Bukosmia under 17 are going to come and speak about what we feel. We also have a very special guest. We'll tell more about her in a bit. Meanwhile, here's the theme song from the Paralympics while we wait for everyone to join in. It's called Kar De Kamal Tu. Well, what a start we've had. Welcome, Jaya Uttam Chandani. Jaya is an amazing creative director and executive producer. She has worked for ESS, Hotstar, and has been in sports production for 18 years. She's the co-owner of the production house that focuses on sports-related films and promos. She has been covering para badminton for 2 years now, including marquee events like the Para World Championships in Basel to Dubai. She makes feature videos on international para badminton players, and she does so much more. Thank you so much for joining us, Jaya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege.
Same here, Jaya. And we are so excited to have our youngsters here at Paralympics. They say that if you want the world to know about something, the way to do it is through the youngsters. It's when the youngsters do something that the world actually opens up. So before we open it up to our youngsters, tell us, Jaya, tell us about the Paralympics and, why should we be watching the Paralympics?
So I think for me it's really simple. It is about the athletics. It is about the sport. I don't think they're any less competitive. In fact, I think the mental strength required is so much more. And so I think that's why we should watch the Paralympics. More importantly, in India, it is growing, and I think there's a lot more recognition being given. So you actually have not just disabled participants, but you actually have very good athletes who are taking part. So it's India has a very good chance at a lot of gold medals this time. And I think that's why India needs to get behind them just for the sport. I think it is about the sport. India has a very good chance at gold medals. And putting everything else aside, it's going to be a great event and it's going to be very competitive.
Wow, Jaya, loved listening to you, loved the enthusiasm and the positivity. We absolutely know about some amazing candidates who are going to be part of this Paralympics. But let's hear it from our youngsters themselves. Let's start with Pritika Bhatt, who's 12 from Noida. Pritika, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to tell everyone, Pritika has not been keeping very well, but she doesn't want to let go of the spirit of Paralympics. So I really applaud you for coming on over, Pritika.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. And in my opinion, Olympics, a legendary assemblage of menacing and thrilling games, was all anyone was chattering about a few days back. And to take part in Olympics, the participants have to be perfectly fit and wholesome. However, the people who were suffering with mobility disabilities, amputations, blindness, and cerebral palsy faced the restriction of not being able to pitch in until when in 1960 the first Paralympics was held in Rome. Nonetheless, the word for this new initiative spread officially in 1988 Summer Olympic Games, and it spread widely like a recently caged bird suddenly flying around the world. In my opinion, the top three brightest medal hopes are first is Pooja Rani. She was afflicted with polio during her youth, which led to deformed legs. But Pooja Rani belongs to a financially strained family, and nonetheless, she showers her family with pride as she one by one achieves medals nationally and internationally. The second is Varun Singh Bhati. Varun was also afflicted by polio in his youth, yet he has gotten several gold medals. He is also India's hope for a medal in Rio. The third and the last one is Sundar Singh Gurjar. Sundar had injured his left hand's palm, which he had to get cut later on. He is a bright medal prospect for India at the Paralympics high jump event. Earlier this year, he broke the world record set by Devendra of 62.5-meter long javelin throw by over 6 meters, and he clocked 68.42 meters long throw. Now, why I think these should win and why I think these are the brightest medal hopes. It's because not only do they have the guts and knack for their respective sports, but also they have bravely set aside their differences and struggles and instead fill themselves with pure determination and dedication, and most important, a bubble of hope.
Wow, Pritika, we just loved your amazing analysis. A lot of those names, we have all been reading them, some of us for the first time, and many of us probably hearing it here for the first time, thanks to you. Very good analysis. And I think Jaya would probably come in and tell us a little bit about the categories in brief. Jaya, maybe you'd like
Yeah,
to tell our young little ones. Yeah.
yeah. Firstly, I that was lovely, Pritika, and I think it's important to remember the odds people are fighting because if something I mean, if you're an able bodied person and even if you got a finger cut off, just coming out of that, the kind of mental strength that one requires. And for a lot of these athletes, I think the opportunity that she spoke about was interesting because para badminton is going to be featured for the first time in the Paralympics. So you have players like Parul, who are like 43, 44 years old, who have been waiting to take part in this in the Paralympics, and she's clearly said that if it's not this Paralympics, even the next one, so she'll be like 46, even the next one, a medal is mine for sure, is what Parul has come out and promised India. So I think the grit and determination is something that we can all take back from. Whereas as far as para badminton goes, there are lots of categories which I think if you guys are going to follow the games, it's important or it's good to know. Like you will have short stature, which is what the basically shorter people, much shorter people. So that's the short stature category. Then you have Mansi Joshi, who's not participating in this Olympics, but her category is a standing lower because one of her legs is amputated. And if you have an arm that you are born without or an arm that's been amputated, that's called standing upper. And so when you see it in the games, when you see SL3, that means that's a category. So it depends on how sort of deformed that part of you is. So you are put in a harder category if your injury is bigger. So that's basically how categories work. It's SL3, SL4, SU3, SU5, and short stature. So just for general knowledge. So they're clubbed based on their categories. Like if your right arm, you don't have a right arm, then a few people who don't have a right arms, just so that the field is evened out, they are categorized according to that.
Lovely. Thank you, Jaya. That was really useful for all of us as we start. And I know that for a lot of us, this is the first time we're actually going to be watching these Paralympics. Uh, the Olympics was just brilliant for us this year, for a lot of people, waking up to the amazing feats that our Olympians can do in so many disciplines. And, it was a record, the number of people that came in to watch the women's hockey semi-final. I believe that was more than the India-England match that was going on at the same time. And that really speaks volumes of what, if given the right support, how much a sports person from different disciplines can get support, not just cricket. So thank you for that lovely intro, Jaya. I also want to tell you guys that Jaya has produced some amazing movies, and I'm just going to paste on the chat one of the links to something that she's done. It's brilliant. It's about how the para athletes are getting ready for Tokyo. It's on Hotstar. Please do have a look. It's brilliant. Thank you, Jaya, for this amazing content that you keep doing for us. And now let's go on to one of the people that we discussed. That is Deepa Malik. She's inspirational. She's on the Olympic community. And the person who is going to speak more about her is Anjali. Hi, Anjali.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. I
Good.
hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are, Anjali. Welcome to Backstage. Anjali Rakhave is 16 and she joins us from Bhopal. Anjali, tell us why Deepa Malik inspires you.
Yes, ma'am. So, talking about a Paralympic athlete, Deepa Malik, who truly inspires me, she is a phenomenal woman who has paved her way from paralysis to Paralympics. She is the first Indian woman to win a medal in Paralympic Games, bagging a silver medal at the 2016 Summer Paralympics in shot put. After knowing her story of how in 1999 she was diagnosed with spinal tumor and after undergoing 3 surgeries, she was left paralyzed from the waist down. To be able to pave through so much physical and, of course, mental pain, she successfully managed a catering business for 7 years, after which, at the age of 36, she finally decided to pursue a career in sports. And it was at this junction where she was determined to continue further, ultimately achieving great heights. Since then, she has won 58 national and 18 international medals till now, and is a skilled biker and talented swimmer too. It was this story of hers, woven with sheer willpower and determination, that truly inspired me. I was also touched when I got to know about the immense support and love that she received from her family. Deepa Malik also holds the distinction of being the first physically challenged person to get a Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India license. Further on, she wants to use her achievements and medals to further support women with disabilities. And to conclude, I would like to say that this multifaceted personality of hers is what truly inspired me. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, Anjali. And Deepa definitely is someone that we can all aspire to look up to. All of you on the chat, all of you listening here, please do feel free to drop in your comments and tell us who among the Paralympics committee or among the athletes who inspires you and why. We would love to feature your answers here. Your answers are very, very important to us. So do share in your thoughts. And thank you, Anjali, for telling us about Deepa and why we must look out for all the amazing things she does, not just as an athlete, but as an inspiration in general. Jaya, I believe you've also interacted with her. Tell us something that we don't know about Deepa.
Well, I recently interacted with her because she's now part of the committee, and I think she's a very vibrant character, and you can still sense an athlete in her. Like as she's sending off the para badminton uh, players, I think what's important is that their sort of persona and characteristics are so much more than their disability. Like I remember this young girl, Pala Kohli, who's also going for the Paralympics. She once told me something, and that stuck. She said, "It's not a disability. What I have is the ability to inspire the able-bodied people."
That's beautiful.
But I also just want to share that when I first started covering para badminton, I think everyone on my team was a little scared because it's sensitive how you interact with people, what you ask people, and after I interviewed, I think 5 or 6 of the players at the World Championship, some were 52 years old on wheelchairs. We had one guy who had a very bad accident paragliding and lost both his legs. Within a year, he was in badminton and playing para badminton. So just how you kind of speak and what you kind of ask them. And after I did those interviews, which were all absolutely fine, they're brilliant people, they're not sensitive, they're fighting hard to do what they do. I had friends who asked me, "Did you cry? Like just hearing these stories, did it make you sad?" And it's not at all. It's the strength that they actually give you. It makes you feel a little smaller because of how much they've overcome to do what they do. I think the mental strength is just so important in general for all of us, especially during these times. But I think as we're watching their physicality and how they have fought odds to be where they are, I think it's also important to just absorb how mentally strong they are as well. A lot of us would find it very hard to come out as such. We have a little bit of a problem and we make such a big deal of it. I think that's important to kind of look at and get inspired by.
I love that, Jaya. That's such a refreshing way. Thank you for telling us about it. And it must be amazing to be in the presence of Deepa, who, as you said, doesn't look at the disability, but looks at the ability with what she has. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us to do the best with what we have and to achieve our goals with the best that we can and not wonder about what could have been. These are the true role models. Thank you for that, Jaya, for that insight. I'll now go to Ritik, who joins us from Chennai. Ritik is 8, and Ritik is a first-time Paralympics watcher, and he's going to tell us what excites him about Paralympics. Tell us, Ritik, why are you so excited about the Paralympics this year?
The Paralympics is a sport in which mentally or physically disabled people can play. But till now, India has bagged 12 medals. In it, 4 gold medals, 4 silver medals, and 4 bronze medals. So this time we are sending 54 people to participate. Last time we sent 19 participants and we bagged 5 medals. We are sending these participants to 9 sports. In it, the flag bearer is Mariappa Thangave. He is the gold medalist of 2016 Paralympics. The coming Paralympics starts on August 24, 2021 Tuesday and finishes on September 5 Sunday. I expect that we get more medals than the last year. This Paralympics started on 1960, and I think, and some of the people who who participated till now are Mulikant Petkar. He was in men's 50 meters swimming and he got a world record. In 1972, it was he finished 50 meters swimming in 37.33 seconds. And then the next one is Devendra Jajharia. He got 2 medals in javelin throw. Those 2 medals are also gold medals. I expect that Devendra Jajharia gets another gold medal for India. Thank you.
How sweet, Ritik. And that was amazing. Anyone who doesn't follow Paralympics, there you go. Ritik has given you all the updates on what you should know, when it starts, who are our athletes, and all our medal hopes. Thank you for that, Ritik. Very nicely summed up. Jaya, I have a question for you. When we see 8-year-olds like this who are, watching the Paralympics for the first time, how does it feel for you? Someone who has really been passionate for the cause of Paralympics, especially para badminton, as you have been following them for a lot of years. How does that feel, and how important is this for youngsters to speak out?
I think it feels great. It almost feels a bit unreal because of how much it's kind of grown in a span of 3-4 years not from certain disciplines not being a part of the Paralympics to people not knowing about the Paralympics to funding not being there. And it's when kids and people start following it. We all know at the end of the day, TV viewership is money. TV viewership is sponsorship. TV viewership is growth. People watching it, people supporting it. So when we keep saying that some players don't have sponsorship, or women doesn't get as much as men, it all boils down to, a lot of it just boils down to what is being watched and what is not being watched. It's not actually someone wants to discriminate a certain type or kind or any of it. It's just what the public is watching. So the minute people start watching it, know that you are part of a very big growth. You have no idea. You're actually not just contributing in eyeballs, you're contributing in money by watching. So yeah, I mean, these kids are part of the growth. I think for a lot of sports, what's important now in the Paralympics and in para sports is that we went from not having enough representation to having athletes who are now part of the committee, which, if you notice in sports, it also took a while for us when you had cricketers who were part of the committee. And now we've reached that place in para sports where you actually, it's going to get better from here, because the committee is also people who get this, who understand this. So yeah, I think it's huge that people are going to watch it. I think the more people that watch it, the better it gets for everybody.
Well said, Jaya. And we hope that this trend continues. As we have seen, whenever the athletes have come into the committee and have actually come into the sports they love, it definitely does make a lot of difference. We have seen that in cricket as well of late, with all of our administrators, Saurav Ganguly being the example right at the top. He has played with a lot of these youngsters who come through the system. So the way they connect with these youngsters, with their stories, with their struggle, is so much more. They connect with them so much more than maybe someone who's just been in the administration. So that's a very good point. And
I think I think the empathy firstly is there. But one thing interesting, so I'll tell you something interesting about para badminton, is in Lucknow they're building an academy right now, and I think it's one of the first para sport academies that's being built.
That's brilliant.
And what Gaurav Khanna is doing, which is very interesting, is a wheelchair-bound athlete is designing his own room for keeping in mind the next wheelchair-bound athlete that's going to come there. So you design because you understand your disability more than anyone else. They are supposed to design for themselves, for their discipline, and for the next athlete that takes that place, keeping their disabilities in mind. Every room.
That's such an amazing initiative, Jaya. It's brilliant. I think another way of inclusion, letting the athletes know that they are being heard. I think that's a brilliant move, and we look forward to the academy and all the amazing things it brings for us, sports, and for everyone in general. Great tip there, Jaya. All of you listening, tell us what what sports are you most excited to watch during the Paralympics? We'd love to know, so do put it on chat. And here's a question for all of you sports nuts out there. India made its summer Paralympic debut at the 1968 Games. So tell us, in which discipline did India win its first medal? I'll tell you the name of the person. It was 1972 at the Heidelberg Games, and this person gave India its first gold. All right. So tell us, what sport do you think I'm talking about? So you can take a few seconds while we go to our next speaker who's waiting for us, and that is Aditya Dasgupta. Aditya is 14 and he's from Delhi. And Aditya, the question that we have for you is just a little while back, Ritik spoke about Devendra Jhajaria, and we've heard about him a lot. So tell us about what you think about him.
So, good morning, everyone. To begin with, I would like to thank the entire Books for Me and team to give me this fantastic opportunity. And with that being said, let us move on to today's topic, which is Devendra Jhajaria, the javelin throw gold medalist of the Athens Paralympics 2004. Firstly, I would like to say that the Paralympics is seriously underrated in our country. The entire idea of disabled people participating in various sports events at an international level is fantastic. But because of a few reasons, such as perhaps a low literacy rate or less awareness of the fact that there is even a Paralympics, people are really missing out on a glorious wonder of the world. Moving on to Devendra Jhajaria, let us first speak about his past. He was born in the Churu district of Rajasthan, but why participate in Paralympics? That is because of the fact that he, at the tender age of 8, touched a live electric wire while climbing a tree, which resulted in the amputation of his left hand, hence making him disabled. Now, I have always wondered that how would a boy who isn't even in his teens yet feel when his arm has been amputated? He would have been devastated. On top of that, he lives in a small village where people haven't even heard of Paralympics. So let's take a minute and think, what would have been the obstacles he had to overcome? Mental trauma, physical bullying, and most importantly, making his parents believe in him and prove that he can make a career in javelin throw in such a country where these career paths are often frowned upon because of stereotypes. From a disabled boy to a Paralympics gold medalist, Devendra Jhajaria has repeatedly proved that no sort of silly disabilities are going to stop him from acquiring his ambitions. Now, why say repeatedly? That is because Devendra Jhajaria has not only won a gold medal in the 2004 Paralympics, but a gold medal in the 8th FESPIC Games in South Korea in 2002, a gold medal at the IPC Athletics World Championship in Lyon in 2013, a silver medal at the 2014 Asian Para Games in South Korea, a silver medal at the 2015 IPC Athletics World Championships in Doha in 2016. He won a gold medal at the 2016 IPC Athletics Asia Oceania Championship in Dubai, and at the 2016 Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro, he once again won the gold medal for men's javelin throw at an F46 event, which is just a classification for javelin throw events with players who are disabled. That makes it a marvelous 5 gold medals and 2 silver medals in his entire international career. All I can say is Devendra Jhajaria is the living example of one writes his own destiny. And the entire nation salutes him for this impeccable job at the javelin throw events. May he live, prosper, and continue to accomplish and achieve such brilliant heights in the world of javelin throw. Thank you very much, and that is it from my side.
Thank you, Aditya. You certainly brightened up our day. We got to know a lot about Devendra. Of course, he's been in the news ever since Neeraj won the gold medal, and everyone's been tweeting about him and talking about, hey, this is not the first time we've actually won a gold medal in javelin. There was Devendra. And I think that's the first time everyone heard about Devendra. At least most of the people heard about Devendra the first time. But Jaya, I have a question to you. Neeraj won the gold medal at the Olympics for javelin, and Devendra has already done it. But even if Devendra wins the javelin gold medal, is it the same thing? Let's be honest and have an honest discussion. Do you think that the kind of awards that the state governments bestowed upon Neeraj, the governments, the corporates, there was just so many people who suddenly wanted to be associated with Neeraj who didn't even know what javelin rules are before that. Do you think anything will change for Paralympics athletes after they win medals?
So I think it is getting better, but it's not the same. I think it'll be unfair to say it's the same. It's getting better because of social media. Like I know when I think when it was athletes who came back from the World Championship, or it was one event where they were not recognized at all. For I'm just speaking about para badminton, and they actually took to social media to say to the athletes themselves. Actually, got on Sukan Kadam, and there were a few others who said that we've done so much for the country, and this is not being recognized at all. And Pramod Bhagat, when he won his first World Championship, he said, "When I got back here, it was just an empty airport, and it was so disheartening because they look at able-bodied players and imagine that scenario of them winning the gold."
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
from then to now, it's definitely better. It is getting better with every time someone's not recognized. Social media, the kids who are here as well, people do kind of bring it to the awareness of authorities. But I think what's important is also about how society treats disability that reflects. We as a country, I think what Aditya said about the Paralympics being underrated was interesting, because I think disability is still not recognized. We still look at it as disabled, even when we face a short stature person, when we see a short stature person waiting at a station. It's so hard for para badminton right now. It's so hard. I think as soon as people start not treating disability as this whole bichara concept, as soon as people who are disabled can come out and have these beings, then there's a bigger representation. I think it'll be treated better then. Right now, we can't say that someone in the Olympics winning a gold is going to be equivalent to someone in the Paralympics winning a gold, because we don't see them in society. We don't see them as two equals.
Right, and that's unfortunate.
It is.
Jaya.
We need to start. We need to start recognizing it, respecting it, and I think then authorities, bodies will be pushed further. We are recognizing it now. I think we're doing a remarkable job right now. This is what we need to do more of. And I think then slowly, when people start watching it like a sport, you can't hide. We can't watch the Paralympics saying, "Oh, dekho, bichare ka arm nahi hai, fir bhi ye kar raha hai." We have to see it for the spirit of it, and then slowly things will change.
Absolutely, Jaya. And gives me a lot of optimism and hope that we're all here today to discuss the same topic. All of us who are present here are going to take some part of this discussion and hopefully share it with others, and definitely, let the spirit of Paralympics come in and spread, and all of us sit together in and watch and cheer for our athletes the way we did for the Olympics. I think that is the dream. All right, we'll now call upon Meera Sharath. She's a 10-year-old from Bangalore. And something interesting that Meera spoke was that the Paralympics isn't just about the games. Something very special is being cooked up by all the athletes, and Meera is going to tell us more about it. Over to you, Meera.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, so I think that the most significant achievement of the Paralympics is that it plays a very important role in changing society's attitude towards the people with disabilities. The games, I feel, they also promote a more inclusive society. I hope you all know that a huge amount of the world's population, about 15%, consists of people with disabilities. I would also like to add here that a global campaign called We the 15 has been launched to improve inclusion, raise awareness, and end discrimination of disabled people around the world. I feel that the Paralympics has been a very important platform to take forward the agenda of inclusiveness. The Games also raise awareness of various disabilities which people have. It helps the society see disabled people as active and visible members of an inclusive society. In my opinion, it's also a good reminder that sport should be accessible to all people. I would like to end with a quote attributed to Sir Ludwig Guttmann, who is considered as the father of the Paralympics. He said, "Do not count what is lost, use what is remaining to the full." Thank you.
Thank you, Meera. It is so heartening to see you talk about the We the 15 initiative. All of you just heard about it, and it seems really promising indeed that all of us are coming together on this forum to speak about disability and inclusion, both very important topics. Thank you for that lovely talk there, Meera. And all of you there on the chat, thank you for your comments. I can see a lot of claps and yeah, on fire, says Ashwini. And Ritik wants to give 100 to all of the friends. And Ritik also says he is inspired by Deepa Malik, who is the first woman participant and bagged a silver medal in shot put, but now is the president of the Paralympics committee. Well done, Ritik. And all of you, I had asked you a question about who was the first medalist at the Paralympics at the 1972 Heidelberg Games. And the answer is Murlikant Petkar, who was in the swimming discipline. He swam the 50-meter freestyle in a world record time of 37.331 seconds to give India her first ever gold. And we hope that this time too we'd see a lot of amazing athletes from our country, not just about the medals, but going out there and inspiring us like they always do. Jaya, I have added you as a speaker, so looking forward to see you right now. Jaya, are you back?
Yes, I am.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Nice to see you. So, Jaya, I have a question for you. And the question is that we have seen movies like Chak De and Dangal giving some impetus to sports. You know, when I know it was unfair, but this time when the hockey was going on, we had a lot of the real coach versus the real coach banter going on. How much do movies influence, sports? And is it important, or is it time for India to have its first commercial movie on Paralympics to give India a taste of what this discipline is? And you know it best coming from the film background.
That is interesting. See, I mean, films normally start with the first. There are a few that are always ahead of its time, right? So, I mean, I think making a para film now, making a hero, it may work, and it may also be a little ahead of its time, but it would be groundbreaking. And I personally
Why
think,
don't you do it, Jaya?
it is an interesting idea. I'll definitely think about this. I do a lot more features and documentaries than fiction, but I'll probably cast somebody who is a real athlete.
Love that. Love that.
But I think society films are a solid depiction of society. Like, you know, you see even the Oscars, the kind of movies that win, even the last one, Parasite, it actually tells you a little bit. I'm a believer that it reflects society a little bit, where you are mentally what makes those films a hit. So you never know if we keep moving in this direction. I'm very pleased that we're doing this chat. I don't think anyone has discussed the Paralympics as much as it's being discussed this time. So I think that's already a win. And who knows, maybe we'll have a Palak Kohli film soon.
Yeah, and the amazing part about Palak's example is already, I think that there's a 30-year gap between the two partners.
That's absolutely right. It's 30 years, so they're looking at it as, so how Parul Parmar plays the game is wherever she stands. Now, obviously, her mobility is a little less, but wherever she stands, she can smash that shuttlecock. If she won't miss her area, and Palak does the running around, and obviously Palak has the energy, and Parul has the experience. So keeping Palak in check, Parul almost coaches her through it as well. And I think they're going to be brilliant to watch.
That's amazing, Jaya. We can't wait for the games to start. And I'm sure all of our youngsters here are equally excited. I'm really glad that we have this forum. And to all of you out there, all of our youngsters tuning in, please do remember that when you look at these amazing events, we would love to know what you think about them. So all of your poetry, your essays, your short stories, anything, your reports relating to Paralympics, do send it to us. We would love to hear that from you. The ID, I will be putting it on chat so that you can send us your entries. We would love to hear it. And all of those whose friends are also watching, you can get together and do something together and send us that, and we would love to publish that. And before we end it, I want to give the final word to Jaya, and tell us, Jaya, tell us one or two things our youngsters can do to create and drum up support for Paralympics. What can we do?
I think the first thing you need to do is find your heroes. I think once you find the Sachin Tendulkars and once you find the people you are supporting, like Mansi Joshi is not participating, but she became quite a name in para. I think she's done a lot to create an awareness around para. Find that hero, be it a Pramod Bhagat, and start supporting that hero. Create that banter around whether you're a Pramod Bhagat supporter or you're a Manoj Sarkar supporter, and just enjoy it and find the people you're supporting. And I like the whole, instead of finding differences in all sorts of other things, find the differences in sport so that there's banter, there's fun, and there's awareness. Whether you're a Nadal, Federer supporter, treat para like that. Like I'm really looking forward. I believe that para badminton, for example, is going to get us at least 5 medals, from which 2 will be gold. So put those predictions down, just like you would for any sport. Like sit with your friends and say, okay, don't put any money down on it, just for the fun of it. Say that, okay, I think this is going to happen. These are going to be the people I support. And see whether you're right and have fun with it in that way. Create that awareness. Start discussing sport.
Absolutely, Jaya. There was amazing tips, and we are really looking forward. I hope your predictions do come true, as they say in Hindi. "Aapke muh mein ghee aur shakkar." We hope that those 5 medals come to us, and see what you're doing here. Meera says Meera is just 8. She's 10 from Bangalore, and she says, "I will surely try to watch the Paralympics." And there you go. We've already started something very special here. All thanks to you, Jaya. Thank you so much for joining us on this amazing show. Thank you,
Thank you.
Harini. Thank you, all of our youngsters who joined us today. Thank you, Anjali Raghave. Thank you, Pritika Bhatt, Aditya Das Gupta, Ritik KS, and Meera Sharat for being amazing panel speakers. Jaya, a quick word on all our speakers. What do you think about them?
I think they have no idea right now how much they're helping move the sport forward. They won't realize it until they're probably about 40, and they'll see how far Paralympics has grown. And please remember this day when you guys did your research and you guys showed interest, and then you'll be telling your children and grandchildren that, when I started following para, there was few people talking about it, and now look at where it is. Because these are movements that you guys don't know. Keep at it. You'll see it grow, and you'll realize what a big day this is. And it's such a blessing to have you guys talk about it and watch it. Don't try and watch it, Meera. Watch it. Go all out and watch it. All of you.
Right, and we are going to listen to Jaya. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jaya. You are a delight to listen to. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to all our young speakers, and thank you to all our listeners for joining us today and making this day really special. See you next time here on Bukosmia.